The wind howled through the narrow alleyway of a dusty Afghan village as the convoy rolled in under the fading sun, its Humvee tires crunching on gravel like distant thunder, marking the arrival of a team few dared to cross, the Navy SEALs, silent, precise, and lethal. Among them was Lieutenant Commander Sarah Shadow Kane, one of the most feared and respected operators in the entire unit, a woman whose calm eyes had seen the unthinkable and whose presence alone could silence a room full of men twice her size. Born in the rugged terrains of Montana, raised by a military father and a mother who taught her resilience, Sarah had trained her body into a machine and her mind into an unbreakable fortress. The mission that day was supposed to be simple: extraction of an embedded informant before a local warlord's men could intercept him. But fate had other plans. As the SEALs approached the village, communication lines went dead, their comms jammed, and within moments, the rhythmic sound of gunfire erupted from the hills. Sarah ordered her team to form up, her voice steady even as bullets whistled past. They returned fire with deadly precision, their movements synchronized like a choreographed dance of war. When the dust settled, Sarah moved ahead with 2 operators to locate the informant, unaware that they were walking straight into an ambush. In the chaos, she was separated, ambushed, and captured by local militants who had been tipped off about the mission. They dragged her through the dirt, mocking, laughing, their leader, a scar-faced man known as Rafiq, sneering at the American woman soldier who dared step on his land. They tied her to a wooden chair inside a crumbling mud house, the air thick with smoke and hatred. "You think you can come here, woman, and give orders?" he barked in broken English, slapping her across the face with such force that her head snapped sideways. Her lips split, blood tracing a crimson line down her chin, but she didn't flinch, she just looked up, her eyes steady, cold, and terrifyingly calm. Rafiq laughed nervously, unaware that the moment he struck her, his fate was sealed. Sarah's mind wasn't on the pain, it was calculating, mapping exits, counting footsteps, identifying weaknesses. Every breath, every flicker of movement was data. She noticed the guard near the door had his rifle slung too low, safety off. The man behind her smelled of diesel, maybe a generator nearby. 2 windows, one broken, a thin rope by the table. In less than 10 seconds, she had visualized her escape. Outside, her team had already realized she was missing. Commander Blake, her teammate and closest friend, was coordinating a silent strike, guided by drone feed that picked up heat signatures inside the building. But Sarah wasn't waiting for rescue. When Rafiq leaned closer to mock her again, she spat blood to the side and whispered, "You just made the biggest mistake of your life." Before he could react, she jerked her chair forward, shattering it against the floor, freeing her wrists enough to twist out. In a blur, she lunged forward, driving her elbow into his throat, then pivoted, grabbing the guard's rifle as he stumbled back in shock. The room exploded in chaos, gunfire, shouts, and the sharp cry of vengeance. Within seconds, 2 men lay dead. Sarah kicked open the door, rolled behind a stone wall, and began picking off the rest of the guards with the cold precision of a predator reclaiming control. Outside, her team breached from the west, taking down hostiles with suppressed M4 bursts. When Blake reached the compound, he found her standing over Rafiq, weapon drawn but eyes calm. She hadn't executed him yet. "You're under arrest," she said quietly, tying his hands with the same rope they'd used on her. The mission, though blood-soaked, was complete. But what happened afterward became legend. Footage from the drone, later declassified, showed that Sarah had neutralized 6 armed men single-handedly before her team even reached her position. Her discipline, control, and refusal to act out of anger became a case study in SEAL ethics training for years to come. Yet that wasn't the last time she'd face darkness. Months later, during another mission deep in Syria, her unit was ambushed again, this time by insurgents using American weapons stolen from black markets. One of her team members, a rookie named Diaz, was pinned down by sniper fire. Without hesitation, Sarah sprinted across open ground under fire, grabbed Diaz by the vest, and dragged him behind cover, returning fire with controlled bursts until air support arrived. Her bravery earned her the Silver Star, but she never boasted, never gave interviews, never sought fame. She said only one thing during the medal ceremony: strength isn't about how hard you can hit, it's about what you can take and still keep moving. That line became etched into SEAL lore. Back in the US, she continued to train recruits, many of whom doubted her at first, until they saw her outshoot, outlast, and outthink everyone on the course. One young recruit once asked her how she stayed calm when someone hit her. She smiled faintly and said, "You don't win by reacting. You win by staying 2 steps ahead." Years later, in a rare television documentary, footage showed her standing on a windy beach, her hair tied back, waves crashing behind her, saying, "That slap wasn't an insult. It was a reminder. A reminder that pain is temporary, but purpose is forever." Her legacy became the embodiment of SEAL resilience, a symbol that power doesn't come from muscle or rage, but from mastery, discipline, and heart. The men who once doubted her learned the hard way that respect isn't demanded, it's earned, and sometimes, it's earned through fire. When her story reached the world, millions were inspired by the quiet strength of a woman who never sought revenge but taught an entire generation that dignity, courage, and restraint are the deadliest weapons of all. And that's why, to this day, every SEAL trainee who walks into that training hall reads her name etched on the wall, not as a warning, but as a legacy. Because they know, from her story, that if you ever think of crossing a Navy SEAL, remember, they don't break, they don't beg, and they never back down. They adapt, endure, and when the time comes, they strike with precision that no slap, no insult, and no enemy can ever erase.